And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. How do you do today? It is Thursday as we get to nearly the end of the week, the 5th day of June, as we're ending our first week of June. How's that for us? We'll tell you about the fog that we've got coming up. It's getting thick to the south of us if you're headed toward the coast. If you're going to be taking vacation this weekend, a little bit down there this morning. Be careful as you're out and about traveling. We got a lot to talk about at 7 o'clock as we'll go over everything that has gone on in the community. It's been a lot of arrests. We had power turned off due to an accident. We'll give you the behind-the-scenes details of what happened in western Lauderdale County. We'll tell you all about that coming up also. I don't know if y'all have noticed this yet. If it hasn't happened to you yet and you're watching, it will one day. I was sitting here and I was looking at the time of when to go live. And I noticed again that, I couldn't see it. How many of you had to go to readers? I could see perfect. I am not lying. And it happened like that. I remember turning 40, and sometime during that week, Debbie was sitting next to me, and I thought, man, there's something wrong with the screen. And I got John David Ainsworth to come adjust the screen for me on the computer. It had nothing to do with it. By the end of the week, I realized I had really blurred vision from there on. It ain't got no better. Readers, here we are. If it hasn't happened to you yet, it will. Happens at different ages for everyone, doesn't it? My, oh my. Let's go to Collinsville now, and let's get us a good word, and we'll get into headlines that are shaping America next. Let's see what we have here at First Baptist.
For any comic book movie nerds out there, this might be a hot take. I believe 2013's Man of Steel is the best comic book film of all time. We can talk specific later, but I want to share with you a quote from the film. Towards the climax, Colonel Nathan Hardy is helping Kal-El, the Superman, defend Metropolis and the world against the rogue Kryptonians led by General Zod. In a final act of bravery, he dips his aircraft and flies it straight into the Kryptonian ship, destroying it and many evil Kryptonians, but sacrificing himself and his team in the process. Just before the aircraft strikes the alien ship, he says to one of the Kryptonians, "A good death is its own reward." Colonel Hardy understood sacrifice and suffering. He died knowing that he died for something that he believed in. The Apostle Paul writes this in Philippians 1:29 and 30. "For it has been granted to you on Christ's behalf not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for him, since you are engaged in the same struggle that you saw I had, and now hear that I have." Paul says here that at our salvation, our suffering doesn't end. In fact, he says that it has been granted to us by God as a gift. Not only are we to believe in him, but we are to suffer for him. Christian, it is simply wrong to believe that when we are saved, we no longer suffer. We will suffer. We will have trouble in this world, as Jesus says in John 16:33. But when we suffer, we count it as worship. And the Apostle Peter says in 1 Peter 3 that we are blessed when we suffer for righteousness. Before being burned at the stake for his faith in Jesus, early church martyr Polycarp said this, "I bless thee that thou hast granted me this day and hour, that I might receive a portion amongst the number of martyrs in the cup of Christ." Polycarp was thankful for his day of suffering, for in it he joined the martyrs before him. So receive suffering for the cause of Christ as a gift. For Christ suffered, and we are not above our master. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Hope you enjoyed that and see if you understand that vision thing that happens to you. I can see all real good. What do they call it? Nearsighted? I can see all of that good. It's just up close nowadays. It's not as clear as it ought to be. As we begin the headlines that are shaping America, we'll get into our forecast coming up and let you know where it is, what's going on, what the temperatures will be. The GOP bill that is up, what are they calling it? The big, beautiful budget, big, beautiful plan, whatever it is. Analysts say that this will cost the taxpayers about $2.4 trillion and add to the deficit. It's not saving a lot of money. I'm not sure about all of this. Marjorie Taylor Greene, do you know who I'm talking about? She's a fighter. She's being mocked as she's admitted she didn't read it before voting yes for it. They're giving her a hard time over it. And you should read this. Now, I've talked to many senators, and the way we do business sometimes doesn't add up. They'll throw this stuff on a senator the night before that's 3,000 pages. There's no way to read that. We need to have a better way of doing our system. It's not right to the American taxpayer. Nebraska is the latest state to ban transgender students from girls' sports. Rightly so. We're going to need more of that. What else is happening? Sean, let's see here. The rail. Have y'all been? This has been going on for some 10 years at least. The railway that they're trying to build in California that's supposed to be supersonic speed. As they dig deep into this, they see that there's no viable way that it can be met to be finished on time. Is it $4 trillion that the $4 billion that they're putting back into this? Yeah, $4 billion that they'll remove from this if it isn't coming up with a better plan to make it work. This has been going on for quite some time, if you're familiar with what I'm talking about. California's HighSpeed Rail project. It's in default. We'll see what they do about it. We had, and this mountain has been in the news quite a few times as we go to Mount McKinley. You've heard of it. We had a climber fall to his death 3,000 feet. His body has been recovered. That's a tough one there. The healthcare suspect, do you remember the guy that killed the healthcare president on the streets? He is saying in court that the guy had it coming. No, he didn't. He might not have done the job that he liked, but he didn't have it coming. That's the words from a killer. We have the U.S. Marshals have arrested someone, a Dominican man, wanted in a quadruple homicide. Two of the victims were 2 and 4 years old. We got a major problem in America, don't we? We have an illegal immigrant that has been convicted of a 100-mile-an-hour DUI crash that killed a Washington state trooper. We got a lot of people in our country. As we move to our next headline with this, a Chinese couple, and you just, we live in a different world. Never would I, as a kid, have thought anything like this, but we've arrested 2 Chinese people. They're charged with smuggling a biological pathogen into the U.S. There's a lot of things that go on that aren't good. People that want to harm us. This one shocks me, as we do have judges that do that from time to time. We have a U.S. judge that has ordered the stopping of the deportation of the Boulder family suspect's family. Now, what do I mean by that? There's a guy that attacked people in the U.S. of A. with a homemade flamethrower. He was here illegally, lived here. His entire family was illegal. We have a judge trying to stop that where they can stay in the U.S. They were being deported. He's a criminal. They were not citizens. It's kind of black and white, in my opinion. I watched a video earlier this morning as, well, one of these words that scare people now in the United States since Trump took office is the word ICE. I-C-E. They mean business. They arrest people and, well, send them on their way. Richmond, Virginia, which is now turned into, that is no longer a southern state. I don't know if y'all are aware of that. It's just totally different there. It's very liberal as it's right next to Washington. Construction site. One truck pulled up, ICE. And it was, to say the word panic is not the word. It was, every worker ran from the job site. Tells us we have a lot there on site that aren't U.S. citizens, don't we? We had a flight from Germany that was forced to make an emergency landing after 9 people were injured. I'm sure that there's a few of us, or a few of you who are watching this morning who've never been on an airplane. There's a lot of you who have done it. Most of the time it's smooth, it comes in. But every once in a blue moon, you'll get into some turbulence. And what that is, you're flying along and all of a sudden the plane starts doing this. It's like hitting a pothole, so to speak, in the air. And it gets bad. And if you're not buckled in, it can throw you. 9 people injured on that. Flying is pretty good, though. If you've never done that, it's quick and you're not near as tired. We've talked about this several days in a row. It was in Maine. The father and daughter were out hiking. We talked about the father was found. They have found the body of the daughter. She was 28 years old. Her father was 58. They were out hiking there in Maine, and both have been recovered now. Jason, let me think of his name. Jason Statham, is that how you say his name? You know, the guy that is in the transporter. Statham, how you say it?
Yeah.
Is it just Jason? I want to call him, to change it to Smith, but I can't say it right. Jason Statham. We'll say it that way real fast. Real fast. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He's a great actor. He was in that movie, The Mechanic. Did y'all see that, where he got sent to jail and they had to race in the jail? The warden was behind it, and I guess this is kind of similar in a real life situation as we go to L.A. County, to where they had gladiator fights in the detention center. Oh, yeah, it was going on there. They were forcing at least 6 people to do this in fights. Los Angeles is going to pay the family of one of these victims $2.7 million this happened in 23. And again, this was juveniles, is what we're learning about this. Man, they must have been bored. Y'all know it goes on in other places as well. You know it as well as I do. I think we all watched, and this is interesting that it's missing, we all watched Back to the Future. You remember the scene where he got on stage and he did Johnny Be Good? You remember the red guitar? Well, they wanted to use that guitar for the number 2 Back to the Future when it came out. Well, they couldn't locate it. And they still have not found the guitar. They would like to find it, but they don't know where. They're looking for it still. I don't know who owned it or what happened to it, but even the staff member, somebody walked off with it. Somebody's got a hold of it. As we see that things are working better for Syria, or at least they seem to be, the United States is going to close 7 out of 8 bases that we have in Syria. What are they saying about this? Well, whatever we've been doing hasn't been working, so we're going to have a new strategy. They'll focus on one base instead of scattered bases across Syria. We'll see how that works out. That's the latest that we get on this. And a different change for the United States with them. They seem to be wanting to work with us. This would never happen in the United States. We have a lot of comedians, and they're funny for the most part. Every now and then, the redheaded girl took it too far about 4, 5, 8 years ago, if y'all remember I don't remember her name, but what state was this? Brazil. You can't be joking over there. They take it just a little bit too serious there. As a comedian was joking, he's being sent to jail for 8 years. You can't be making fun of the government over there. Folks, I can't tell you just how great we have it in the US of A. Well, you can, for the most part, say what you want. Not everybody agrees with you, but you can say it usually without harm. You can't do this in other places. If you hadn't thought about it, we do live upon the greatest nation in the world. We do. We see that a man has been arrested. This is those people that do not need to be amongst us, as they say. He's been charged with supplying the chemicals that were used in that Palm Springs fraternity clinic. Horror. Now, this one took me off guard. I had to read the story twice to make sure that I was really reading it right, and then I checked multiple sources, and I'm going to say her name wrong. I can't say it just right. But do you remember the press secretary that Biden had, Karine Jean-Pierre?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying her last name exactly correctly, but she was the face of the White House. She was the face of the Democrats. She's got a book coming out, and guess what she's done? She has switched parties. She is no longer a Democrat. She is now an independent.
Smart.
Interesting. It's bad when people like that have to start switching party affiliates. The Democrat Party is not what it used to be. At least it didn't when I was little. I remember that everybody voted that way. And then it was somewhere around Ronald Reagan time where Fordyce became governor in the state of Mississippi, that Mississippi started changing to a Republican state. All of that changed. It's like one group changed the ideas for the other. One was for the working man, and it seems that has changed. The Democrat Party used to be for the working man, and now that's kind of changed. Y'all see it as well as I do. And now the independents are getting stronger in the U.S. of A. Too many abortion things, and it just doesn't align with the working man like it used to. The Democrat Party has changed, and the Republican Party has pretty much become the face of the working class. Big change in that. Connecticut man is going to spend the next 33 years in prison. What did he do? Oh, he tried to shoot someone. Shot into a car several times. The bullet deflected off of the car, went through a wall in a home, and struck and killed someone's mother. 33 years in jail. Just senseless. People don't think about you're responsible for that after you squeeze that wherever it lands. The guy that, and I don't totally understand this of what went wrong, but the voice actor that was on King of the Hill, I mentioned that he was deceased now. He was 59 years old. He died in his front yard. John Redcorn was his name. He had a husband. They had neighbors that they didn't get along with. Apparently, the neighbor is accused in I'm not sure it's a fatal shooting. I'm not sure if it's going to be a murder, or if it's going to be considered just a death investigation. But something's going on here. They've been fighting for years. They've been throwing arrows at one another, and pretty bad there. Now, John's husband is saying that it had to do with that he was gay, and it was what's the word I'm looking for? That it had to do with because he was gay, he was killed. And the police were saying, no, that has nothing to do with it. Sounds like they just couldn't get along. It's bad either way, but that's it. Nationwide, they're cracking down on this. I don't know if you remember the woman. She was running an operation to where they stole a bunch of products from stores, and then she would resell it online, eBay, and different stores. They've done a crackdown on this, multiple arrests around many, many different states that are stealing from stores and then reselling it. It needs to be. That's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. Israeli forces have recovered 2 bodies that were those of 2 American hostages that were being held in Gaza. Tough there. Let's see what else is happening today. Connie Francis, I don't know who I'm talking about, Connie Francis, she's seeing a uptick. TikTok is what I mean by that. They're using her song Pretty Baby in a lot of videos here recently. It was recorded in 1960, and all of a sudden it's climbing the charts with so much airplay. Wow. We'll be right back as we get into what's going on, what's happening with that weather. We'll do that next.
Hi, this is Nick at Doc's Toyota, and we are excited to put you in a new Toyota today. We have no dealer markup, no hidden fees, no hassle, and our inventory is always priced to move. Our top-notch sales department and first-class service after the sale guarantees you a fast and comfortable buying experience like you've never had. So come see why month after month, more and more customers have chose to buy from Doc's Toyota. So come see us here at Doc's Toyota in Philadelphia, at docstoyota.com or on Facebook, and remember, there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
For over 40 years, you've been able to count on Watt Equipment in DeKalb, Mississippi. They've got your Massey Ferguson's brand new 23 up to 135 horse cab and air tractors. They've got all your hay equipment needs, all your bush hogs. If your tractor needs it, they got it. Also remember, they service all makes and models, whether it's green, orange, blue, red, or yellow. They can get your parts in, they can do your service on your equipment. Don't forget Watt Equipment, DeKalb, Mississippi.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
And welcome back. And the word that I went blank for, I was telling Odie, was a hate crime. Why I couldn't get that out, I couldn't think of it. I have mornings like that. As we look into our forecast, our record highs and record lows, back in 11, it was 99. Back in 01, we had a record low of 50 today. That would feel good. We're far from that. It's 73 right now. Temperatures climbing. Still no outlook for Mississippi yet. As we go to Alabama, we see that projected to be 88 in Demopolis. We'll see 86 over in Troy, even Montgomery hanging at 88, and Birmingham should be about 86 today. Chance of showers in that southeastern portion of Alabama down around Dothan if you're going to be in that neck of the woods. We do show that we have severe weather threat Friday night there. Columbus northward there at the Air Force Base being worse all the way to the state line. We'll see that Kemper County in these areas there have a level 1 on Friday night. Now, as we move into Saturday, changing, and we'll look at this live in just a second to make sure that this hasn't changed, but a severe weather threat, including the Meridian area back through Newton and Scott counties and all points northward there, a level 2. We'll watch this closely to let you know, but we could have some thunder boomers happening there on Saturday night. We'll be here for you should it happen. As we see that, well, the northern portion of the state is cooler. The Meridian area back toward Jackson and, well, anything south of here is about normal is what we see for this time of year. As we glance across for the high today, somewhere around 89 with a low of 71 for tonight. 20% chance of showers move into the forecast after 3 p.m. today. Otherwise, it's mostly sunny and that slight chance after 3 o'clock. We'll end the week with a 30% chance of rain, high of about 91. As we move into Saturday, rain chances move up to 40%, and it looks like we'll get wet on Sunday as the thunderstorms will start happening after dark and overnight hours into Sunday there with an 80% chance. 70% chance on Monday, 80% chance on Tuesday, and even look at Wednesday, a 70% chance of rain occurring. So we've got that in the forecast. What does this tell us? Mow your grass this weekend. You won't be able to do it next week. Right, Odie?
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Odie on the ball to mow his grass.
Both of them.
It'll get out of hand on you if you're not careful. As we look all the way through the 19th, look at that. We got a chance of showers each day. Not every day is huge, but it's in there. Anywhere from 40% all the way up to 56% chance through the 19th of June. You'd almost think it was May, wouldn't you? Well, let's see what we've got here. Our friends at Clarkdale Superette letting us know about fishing today. As we look at this, best times to be out there is going to be somewhere around 7:50, right at 8 a.m. this morning through about 10 will be good. Another chance, it'll be right at dark, 8 o'clock. A minor time this afternoon, right at 3 to 4 p.m. Wouldn't be a bad time to be out with a cork. You might enjoy it. Sunrise happened this morning at 5:47. Sunset, we're almost at 8 p.m. It's at 7:59 is when sunset hits, which means it'll be good light visibility till about 8:20-ish, maybe a little later. As we check in on the National Hurricane Center, absolutely nothing happening now for the next 7 days. That is great news as we look at that. Let's go back to radar and take a look at what we have going on live radar this morning as we look at this. And again, we're showing fog in southern Mississippi as we look at this, north of Biloxi at this point. We'll put it about right. Let me turn this on. I updated it just a little bit ago. As we come across, this is going to be, where are we at here? Holly Landing, Mississippi. As we look at that this morning, 70 there, a lot of fog there. East of Wiggins, going to be north of Escatawba. Moss Point area there. A lot of fog over here in Central Alabama as we follow this up to Monroeville. Look at that. A lot of fog in there. Be careful over around Evergreen. A lot of you headed to the beach to relax. Now, let's take a look here and see what we've got with severe weather over the next few days. As we'll look at today, nothing in the lower portion of Mississippi. That northwest Tunica has a level 1 this afternoon. As we look to Friday, let's take a look here. We'd shown this on live radar. Again, this picks up at around West Point and moves forward. Here's Amory, Mississippi, all these areas. Here's Columbus, West Point, north of there to the state line, and this will go northward, taking in Nashville, Louisville, Kentucky, even back to Oklahoma City will have a level 2. Let's see what Saturday brings us with severe weather. And again, that will shift. And this has moved even a little bit further with the National Weather Service. It's shown us a few moments ago. This is into Clark County. We'll look at this. Will be Quitman being the line across to Butler, Alabama, to Thomasville, and back west toward Jackson there. Just a little bit south of Jackson there will be a level 2. Florence, Mississippi included in that. Montrose, those areas there across Jasper County. That's on Saturday. We'll watch this storm as it develops. and comes our way on Saturday, as you'll see there, into Kentucky, Charlotte, Greensboro, Charleston, South Carolina, all the way back into Oklahoma City will be a level 2 on Saturday as well. 6:55 as we get ready for the morning show. We'll be back in about 2 minutes to go live. We're getting coffee ready. A big thank you to WMOX Radio for joining us this morning. We'll see you soon as this day begins. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes live with the morning show.